You're still waiting for that one phone call, that one big break, or that one person who finally sees your potential and fixes everything. That's the peak of Mount Stupid. You've watched enough movies to believe that every protagonist gets a mentor or a miracle right when things get tough. The reality is that the universe is indifferent to your struggle, and your big break is a ghost you're chasing to avoid doing the work today. You're currently intoxicated by the hope of a savior, which is just a fancy way of staying paralyzed. Welcome to the peak. You're about to fall into a very quiet, very lonely realization. Let's see if you can handle the weight of being the only person in charge of your life. Chapter 1. You have a long list of reasons why you aren't where you want to be. It's the economy, it's your parents, it's the lack of opportunity in your city, or the algorithm is out to get you. These things might even be true, which makes them the most dangerous traps in the world. As long as the problem is out there, the solution is also out there, far beyond your reach. You've successfully argued yourself into a corner where you have zero power. This is the victim loop. It's a comfortable place because it means nothing is your fault. If nothing is your fault, you don't have to feel the sting of failure. But you also never get the taste of victory. You're waiting for the world to become fair before you start playing the game. Newsflash. The world is never going to be fair. It's a chaotic, messy place that doesn't care about your reasons. You're currently sitting at the bottom of the valley of despair. You've realized that no one is coming to hand you a map or pull you out of the mud. Your friends are busy with their own problems. And the government is just a collection of people who don't know your name. The silence in this valley is terrifying because it means the next move is entirely up to you. The problem is that you've spent so much time blaming others that your responsibility muscle has completely atrophied. You don't know how to take the first step because you're still looking over your shoulder for a leader. You feel heavy, stuck, and abandoned. Good. Abandonment is the first step toward independence. To get out, you have to accept the brutal truth. If you died today, the world would keep spinning without missing a beat. That sounds harsh, but it's actually the most liberating thought you'll ever have. It means you are free from the expectations of a savior. You can stop performing for an audience that isn't watching and start building for a person who matters. The solution is extreme ownership. You have to take responsibility for things that aren't even your fault. If someone cuts you off in traffic, it's your responsibility to stay calm. If the economy crashes, it's your responsibility to pivot. By taking the blame, you take the power. It's a trade-off that most people are too weak to make. You're starting to stand up now. Your legs are shaky and the climb looks impossible, but you've stopped looking for a helicopter to pick you up. You're looking at your own hands instead. This is the start of the slope of enlightenment. It's not flashy and it's not fast, but it's real. Chapter 2. You want to change your whole life by next Tuesday? You're looking at the top of the mountain and feeling overwhelmed because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is massive. This all-or-nothing thinking is just another way to stay stuck. You're trying to solve a level 100 problem with a level 1 skill set, and the inevitable failure just sends you back to the couch. The problem is your ego. You think you're too good for the small, boring tasks that actually build a foundation. You want to be the CEO, but you can't even keep your desk clean or wake up on the first alarm. You're chasing the macro while neglecting the micro. And the result is a life that looks good on paper but is falling apart in reality. We need to fix the micro first. Saving yourself starts with the things that take less than 5 minutes. It's the unread emails, the messy room, the laundry you've been avoiding. These small failures are leaks in your ship. If you don't plug the leaks, it doesn't matter how hard you row, you're still going down. Ownership starts with the square inch directly in front of you. If you can't manage your own room, you have no business trying to manage a team or a business. It's a humbling realization, isn't it? You've been waiting for a hero when you haven't even mastered the basics of being a functional human. The solution is micro-competence. Pick one small thing you've been avoiding and finish it right now. Don't think about the 5-year plan. Don't think about the millions. Just win the next 10 minutes. When you do that, you send a signal to your brain that you are a person who gets things done. This builds self-trust. Most people don't trust themselves because they've lied to themselves 1,000 times. They say they'll work out, and they don't. They say they'll start the project, and they don't. You need to stop lying. Start with a promise so small that it's impossible to fail, and then keep it. The slope is getting a little easier to climb. You aren't leaping, you're just placing one foot in front of the other. You're realizing that the savior you were looking for was actually just a version of you that follows through on small promises. Let's see what happens when we scale those promises up. Ma, ma, ma. Chapter 3. You're worried about job security and the uncertain future. You feel like a leaf in the wind, terrified that a bad boss or a new AI update will take away everything you've built. This fear is a sign that you are dependent. You're relying on the permission of others to earn a living, and that makes you a hostage, not a player. The problem is that you've been trained to be a generalist. You have a bunch of vague skills that anyone can replace with a week of training. You're good with people, or you work hard, but you don't have a specific high-value skill that makes you indispensable. In a world of specialists, the generalist is the first one to be let go. You're looking for safety in the wrong places. Safety isn't a pension or a contract. Safety is the ability to produce value anywhere, at any time, for anyone. If you lost everything tomorrow, your house, your job, your reputation, could you build it all back from scratch? If the answer is no, you aren't safe. You're just lucky. This is the capability gap. You've spent more time watching other people succeed than you've spent practicing your own craft. You're an expert at consumption but a novice at production. You're waiting for someone to give you a career, when a career is something you build with your own bare hands. The solution is to become dangerous. You need a skill that is rare and valuable. Whether it's high-end video editing, complex coding, or deep psychological sales, you need to be the person people have to call. When you are the solution to a big problem, you never have to worry about being saved. People will pay for the privilege of your time. Start the deep work phase. Stop looking for hacks and shortcuts. Mastery takes thousands of hours of quiet, focused repetition. That's why most people will never have it. They'd rather spend those hours looking for a mentor to tell them they're special. You know better. You know the work is the mentor. You're feeling more solid now. The fear of the future is being replaced by the confidence of a craftsman. You're moving past the validation phase and into the value phase. You don't need a boss to tell you you're good. The results in your bank account will tell you. Chapter 4. You've got the skills, but you're still trading your time for money. You're on a treadmill. The moment you stop running, the money stops flowing. This is linear growth, and it's a trap. If your income is tied to your presence, you're still just an employee. Even if you're the boss, you're one burnout away from losing it all. The problem is scale. You haven't built anything that works without you. You're the engine, the fuel, and the driver. That's not a business. That's a job with extra steps. To truly save yourself, you need to build systems that operate in the background. You need to stop being a worker and start being an architect. Most people are terrified of systems because they seem cold or techie. They'd rather just hustle because hustle feels like progress. Hustle is just noise. A system is a machine. While you're sleeping, your system should be marketing, selling, and delivering. If you don't have this, you're always going to be a slave to the clock. This is the leverage pivot. You've been using your muscles when you should be using code and content. You're ignoring the fact that we live in the greatest era for leverage in human history. You can reach millions of people for the cost of an internet connection, yet you're still trying to win by working harder than the guy next to you. The solution is to build your digital fortress. Use tools to automate the boring stuff. Use content to build a brand that attracts opportunities while you sleep. Use code to create products that scale without adding more overhead. You're building a safety net that is made of logic and math, not luck and favors. This requires a shift in identity. You have to stop seeing yourself as a doer and start seeing yourself as a builder. Builders don't look for jobs, they create environments where jobs can exist. They don't wait for permission to start, they just deploy. The slope of enlightenment is behind you now. You've reached the level where your effort is amplified by the machines you've built. You're no longer climbing. You're managing the ascent. It's a different kind of stress. The stress of an owner. But it's 1,000 times better than the stress of a victim. Chapter 5. You've reached a level of success, and now you're getting distracted. You're tempted to start celebrating before the fortress is even finished. You're looking for new thrills because the daily work has become routine. This is the boredom wall, and it's where most self-made people fall back into the valley. The problem is novelty. Your brain is still wired for the high of a new project or a new hack. You think that success should always feel like a breakthrough. The reality is that peak performance is actually quite dull. It's doing the same high-value things every single day until they become automatic. You're losing your edge because you've stopped doing the things that made you successful in the first place. You think you've graduated from the basics. You never graduate from the basics. The moment you stop managing your routine is the moment the rescue fantasy starts creeping back in. This is the consistency trap. You think you can coast on your previous wins, but the world doesn't care about what you did last year. It only cares about what you're producing today. If you aren't maintaining the machine, it's going to rust. And when it breaks, there won't be anyone there to fix it for you. The solution is to turn your routine into a fortress. You need a set of non-negotiable habits that protect your time and energy. You don't decide to work. You work because it's 8 a.m. You don't find time for the gym. The gym is a built-in part of your day. You are removing the need for motivation by installing discipline. This is the plateau of sustainability. You've realized that being a hero isn't about one big brave act. It's about 1,000 boring ones. It's the quiet discipline of staying the course when no one is watching and no one is clapping. It's not sexy, but it's how empires are maintained. You're moving with a different kind of energy now. You aren't frantic. You aren't desperate. You're just steady. You've accepted that the savior was never coming because a savior would only make you weak. You've chosen to be strong instead. Chapter 6. You are finally sovereign. This doesn't mean you're alone. It means you're independent. You have the skills, the systems, and the discipline to thrive in any environment. The Dunning-Kruger curve is complete. You went from the rescue fantasy to the victim valley to the sovereign plateau. You've saved yourself. The final realization is that sovereignty is a responsibility, not just a reward. Now that you don't need to be saved, you are the person others look to. You are the break that someone else is waiting for. But you know better than to try and save them. You know that true help is showing someone else how to pick up their own shovel. The problem with success is that it can make you soft. You might start to think that you deserve your comfort. This is the last trap. You don't deserve anything. You only earn it, day by day. The moment you stop earning your sovereignty is the moment you start losing it. Stay vigilant. The world is always trying to pull you back into the consumer or employee mindset. It wants you to be dependent because dependent people are easier to sell to. You have to keep your fortress guarded. You have to keep your skills sharp and your systems updated. You've mastered the logic of the long game. You understand that the biggest rewards come to those who can handle the longest periods of silence. You don't need the dopamine hit of a like or a promotion. Your satisfaction comes from the internal knowledge that you are a person of your word. Think about the version of you that started this video. That person was looking for a sign. This is the sign. It's not coming. The help isn't on the way. The miracle isn't happening. And that is the best news you've ever heard. It means the outcome is 100% in your hands. The game is won. You've replaced hope with certainty. You've replaced waiting with action. You are the captain, the architect, and the savior. Now, go lead the life that only you can build. So, you actually stayed until the end. Most people closed the video as soon as I told them no one was coming to help because they'd rather keep dreaming than start doing. But you're still here, which means you're finally ready to take the wheel. I've given you the map of the curve and the tools for the climb. Now the only thing left is for you to stop listening to me and start becoming your own hero. The plateau is waiting, and it's very, very quiet. Go save yourself.